be distracted by the screen as I'm giving the short, concise, brief teachings on the life of Buddha. I do this every time when students come down here. It gives them a chance to reflect on everything. So, this is our one and only Historica Gautama Buddha. When he was born, remember? Queen Maya, M-A-Y-A, touched the branch of a tree, and then boom, he was born. Okay? He came out on the side of her. Okay? He took 7 steps. This is where it's at. Notice number 7 in Buddhism. Very significant. Such as, after 7 days of giving birth, Queen Maya died. Okay? So that was the first pain that he ever felt. Was the loss of his mother. This is why he's very in tune, in touch with his emotions growing up. Since birth, you know, he noticed little things like the birds flying down, grabbing the worms, and he's like, really? You know, in the Buddha's mind, he's like, the worm was just trying to chill. Like, I don't understand why y'all just went down and just killed this man, and then swallowed and ate him, and then flew away. So he questioned stuff like that. Like, wow, he figured out the cycle of birth and death. Just like, wow, and that happens, and then the bird dies, and then the worm comes to eat the bird. Big cycle, birth and death, of suffering. So his hand gestures, I show the path to happiness. You want to follow? Follow. You don't want to follow? You obviously know what's the total opposite of happiness and heaven, hell. And, you know, part of the teachings is the 6 rebirth realms. And one of those realms is the hell realm, right? And like you heard me on the phone earlier, you want to go to heaven? Be good. And part of being good is listening to the Buddha, so keeping the precepts, the threefold training, sila, samadhi, panya. Sila, discipline, morality. Samadhi is cultivation of the heart, meditation, and then which leads to wisdom, panya. Then we will go over there, but since this statue is already here, okay, this is the future Buddha Maitreya. We won't live to see the future Maitreya come in this lifetime, both your lifetime and my lifetime. So therefore, I tell all of my students, all of you are future Maitreyas. Maitreya or / Meteya, right? So everyone that I ordain under my program, or any students that go under my program, I tell them, all of you are future Buddhas. You got one life to live, live it well. You got one life to live, inspire the whole world what you've learned by and through the threefold training. Right? So it's pretty awesome. Every time when I come back here, I'm reminded that, hey, that's me. And this is the rest of all of you. This is the rest of us here, right now. But it doesn't matter what they tell you. You should go with God, or you should go with this, or you should go with that. Don't do this, don't do that. This is your path. This is your life. You choose what makes you happy. You know, you choose what leads to the best wisdom that you can carry with you from this lifetime to the next lifetime. Right? Care less. You know, earlier you told me that back in the day you had to fight kids because they looked at you funny. Imagine walking in public looking like this in a predominantly Christian world. You know, do I care what people think of me? No. It's the Vasa season and I'm wearing orange. The Vasa season, most monks are supposed to stay at the monastery to carry on the 3 months of rains retreat. I'm out there saving lives. You figure I would wear the darkest robes I could find. I'm still wearing orange. Because why? I don't care. Let's move on to our Buddha who achieved enlightenment. In this image, after 6 years of meditation, he was going to die because of austere practices. You know, he was floating along the river. Obviously, he's on the brink of death because he practiced wrong for 6 years, pretty much. And the woman came and gave him rice porridge and said, "Sir, you gotta you can touch his spine with his finger." That's how skinny he got. So there's images of that when he was practicing the wrong way. She gave him rice porridge, boom. He gets up and he says, you know what? I'm going to sit right over there for 45 days. I'm going to sit until I resolve what I came to resolve, until I discover enlightenment. And thus he did. This is what leads to this statue here. And this is what I hope for everyone. And part of the threefold training, samadhi, which is meditation, the big emphasis on mindfulness of the breath and insight meditation that leads directly to wisdom. See for yourself. Even if the Buddha was alive and telling you stuff, you shouldn't believe him. You should follow his instructions and see for yourself whether or not, if I sat and focus on my breath, do I in fact achieve peace? All of us are scientists. All of us are supposed to prove this man wrong. That's my job, prove him wrong. I haven't been able to prove him wrong. All right? Yeah. It was exactly here on this temple grounds that I sat and meditated for 15 years of mindfulness of the breath. And in the most boringest way you can imagine, so I teach the other cool stuff, like analyze the temperature of the air that you breathe through your nostrils. In breath 1, out breath 1, in breath 2, out breath 2, all the way to 10 backwards. But I was taught the Butto technique, Thailand technique. Venerable Bufung was recently admitted to nursing home, so he's not here. And if he was here, he would actually forget who I am or anybody else here, because he's reached that age where, yes, I tell people, like, you want to verify he's here, but he's no longer here. But he taught Butto. When I came here, from 7 and chanted to 7:30, from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, religiously, every single day for 15 years. And in the remaining of my 23 years, the remaining was 8 years is Vipassana, where I left on my own and had my own silent retreat. But for me to prepare myself for insight, it took me, each person is different, but it took me 15 years of just mindfulness on the breath alone. With the existence of ADHD and how hyper I was, and I was a fool at that age. From 14 years old coming here, I was a fool. Just didn't know what was happening. Falling in love, falling out of love. Broke up with Christina, came here, found a monk, tried to get some answers from him. He's like, everything will be okay. And I was like, yeah, but it's not. In my mind, I'm like, it's not. That's why I'm here. He couldn't give me the answers I was looking for. So some things we have to discover for ourselves. And some pain we have to go through ourselves. I couldn't tell you the one day that I felt so alone and so broken coming here. There was an American monk sitting on the other side over there. He sat in a chair, and I was like, I looked at that man, I thought that man was Buddha in my head. Because I was suffering so bad from my breakup with her. And I was like, sir, this is what happened. What do I got to do? In the most saddest face you can imagine. And he just looked at me and he says, everything will be all right. Oh, disappointment. So the way that I teach now is not to disappoint others, to give you the answers that you're seeking, just like the woman that called me in the car. Right? Well, I actually tried to probe, but I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to probe. Let me stop myself for a second. You want the answer that you're asking for? And then she proceeded on for more self-disclosure. But I try to give people direct answers, and if they need me to steer a certain way, I'll help them understand better. But that's why I train monks differently now. I don't want ever monks that I train to tell people it's going to be okay. And that's all you tell them, especially not understanding what they've gone through. And I couldn't tell you how many times I tried to take my life. I had a Glock 17, 9mm. And any movies that had suicide in it, like the one with Denzel Washington, where he was a bodyguard and he had a Glock 17 also. Obviously I like Glocks, you can tell. And he was just rolling that 9mm, and one day he put that 9mm and he clicked and it didn't go boom. And he realized that it wasn't his time. And it was my job that kept me from taking my life as an interpreter. Because at the time when I emerged as a legal and medical interpreter, more on the medical side, I was working cancer cases. And so I'm like, well, if I blow my head off, who's going to take care of these people? I miss Ian Doan, who passed away. I had so many cancer cases, stomach cancer cases. And I was just like, really? Like, if I took my life, who's going to take care of her? So by and through thinking of other people, I got by my own self-destructive ideation. So then we move over here.